and you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
Tonight, we welcome in a brand new, fresh series here to the Esports Broadcasting Network, and a deal that happened about as quickly as these guys are going to be going tonight. Tonight, we welcome in the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series for their season opener here from the Daytona International Speedway. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening tonight. And alongside me, as always, my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso. Tony, this was a big deal that came together literally just as we were getting on here. These ThunderClap guys are really excited to have us, and we are even more excited to have them.
Yeah, absolutely, Frank. And you know that they're wanting the best that we've got when they call you and I to come into the booth together. I'm excited for this one. I've heard a lot of really good things about this league. They started back during when the pandemic first hit. They started on Xbox, scrapped that almost immediately, and came over to the iRacing servers. And they said they loved the change that they've been able to do. They've been around for a little over a year, going on 2 years now. And this is our first time being able to bring them to the masses. And I'm loving what I'm seeing so far.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful experience here. And these guys are all guys that you don't normally see in the racing world. This is a league that is made out of pit crew members, people that work for Goodyear, tire carriers, changers, anyone you can think of that's behind the scenes that make other cars go all over for every single NASCAR race. These guys are going to be going themselves here tonight, and it's going to be one heck of a night and a privilege for us to be able to put these guys on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you've got true professionals that, they service these cars throughout the week and throughout the race weekend, throughout the season, you give them a chance to show that they're more than just a tire carrier. They're more than just a jack man. They're more than just a gas man. They're more than just an engine builder. They can wheel these things too. And I'm nothing short of impressed with what I've been seeing with all the drafting practices these guys have been doing since the session opened up. We're in for a heck of a race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be 100 laps here at Daytona, and we're in the next-gen car right now, but do not expect to see that the entirety of this season. We are in the next-gen car today. Next week, we're going to be in the truck. The week after that, we're going to be in Phoenix and in the Xfinity car at Auto Club, and it's going to rotate just like that through the three cars. It'll be the next-gen, the truck, and then the Xfinity, and then it'll go back to the top. So that adds a completely different flavor to this season. We see it on Friday night with the Circle B Diecast series, but here it's not just super speedways. They're going all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's really where having that mechanical background of working on these cars on the weekend or during the, building them in the race shop, that's really going to help with these guys having to figure out, going to Phoenix, going to, Coda, Watkins Glen, any of the short tracks, Bristol. That I'm looking forward to that one.
What I'm looking forward to is the first race in the first round of the playoffs is going to be at Rockingham. That one I'm really going to be interested in.
Yeah.
As the practice session comes to a close here, we're going to take a look at these guys in a qualifying trim. As the session now resets, it'll be a 10-minute qualifying session for these guys, as it will be all season long. Waiting for the first of our drivers to jump out on track. And it looks as though we've got a couple of takers at least to pit road. And it appears as though, Matt Cherry in the 54 Ream machine is going to be the first one to jump on off and show what he's got as far as a hot lap time for this new season.
Yeah, absolutely. And unlike some of the other super speedway racing that we have broadcast, these guys are getting their full 2 laps instead of just a one and done here today. So expect the times to really drop on that second lap, because as we normally see on the plate tracks, these guys are going to be running a higher line on the opening salvo just to get that car sped up, because it takes a good lap and a half to get these cars up to full song, especially with the engine and aero package that they've got on this next-gen car here at the super speedways.
Yep, and also, not to mention, I don't think we mentioned this enough in our other broadcasts. These cars have 5 gears, and when you're qualifying at a super speedway, this thing does not want to get up into 5th gear. You kind of have to force it up there. So as we're seeing Cherry going around the high side right now, that is really important to get the momentum up.
Yeah, very much so. Even more so than we've ever seen in the past, like with the Gen 6 car or with, any of the previous generations of the Cup car. You really have to get this thing wound right up and give that hamster a couple of Red Bulls and hope it does its job here.
We'll see if Matt Cherry gave his hamster enough, as he will cross the line for the first lap. He will be the first one to set a time on the season. It'll be a 50.72, not too bad for an outside line first lap. But here comes James Sharik on his first lap. He was on the inside, set a 50.32.
And I'm guessing this is a relative, Stefan
Yep.
Sharik, and immediately bumped. Oh, these guys are coming in hard and fast here with these times.
Yep, they absolutely are, as Ryan Zunk now on point at a 50.12 in that Waste Management number 23 Ford Mustang. Look through Cherry here coming out of turn 4 to complete his second lap. We'll see what Cherry can do. Crossing the line, he will jump up to 4th at a 50.27 for him. Let's see Stefan Sharik. As he actually lags, there we go. Now we got him back in that 83. Sharik will stay 5th on his lap. Fine guys coming through. Matt Garrett in the number 3. Coming across the line here momentarily. Cole Jadoris crossing the line in 3rd. Matt Garrett goes up to 6th on his second lap. Robert Walton in the 66 about to cross the line. Walton will go from 18th to 6th in that number 66. Time still continuing to fly in as we take a look at the 79 of Anthony Burleson. Burleson a 50.12 on his first lap, good enough to put him 8th at the moment. And Burleson this time not going to be able to better his first lap. And Tony, we're still not even halfway through this qualifying session. We've already had 24 drivers put down time as we take a look at the 55 of Vince Burns coming through 3 and 4.
Well, we also got the 69 of Tyler Truax out on track right now. And I dare say he's been taking lessons from his cousins, being as he's right up against that safer barrier coming through 3 and 4.
Yes, he
on
is.
On his first lap.
Yep, this is his first lap in that number 69. Comes down towards the line. I'm sure it'll be a solid lap here. 27th on the board, a 50.92. As he'll drop to the inside here for this next lap. Thomas Aaron in the number 93 coming through 3 and 4. Seth Jadoris, his first lap, good enough to put him 5th in the number 4 Fastenal Ford.
Can he improve, though? That's the big question. Yeah. And, you know, I'm kind of looking through this field right now, and there's not a lot of separation. So we should see these guys in one giant pack all race long.
Yeah, absolutely. Cameron Henn jumping from 27th up to 3rd as we're watching Seth Jadoris on his second lap. Slower than his first half last time. I'm sure you were looking at Tyler Truex, pardon me.
Yes, I was. Just went up to second quick with a 50.13. Good grief.
Jadoris will jump up to 4th, so he will supplant Cameron Henn on that second row. Dominic Cahart on his first lap, good enough to go 6th quickest. And that number 58, Jack Link Chevy Camaro. Nikolai Jardone also had a very good lap going on his first attempt. Went purple in the second sector, second half of the lap. Purple being fastest of all. Clips the apron there.
That's going to hurt.
Yep.
That's going to hurt big time.
Only 2 drivers have not put down a time just yet. That'll be Caleb Roach in the 09, and Justin Clapper just set his first. Nikolai Jardone will jump up to 26th. And Dominic Cahart will stay in 3rd. Take a look at Justin Clapper. He will have just enough time to get both of his laps in. Caleb Roach, on the other hand,
not so much.
Yeah, no, he'll only have time for one if he decides to go out. Clapper set a 59.19 on his first lap, and this second lap I think will be in an effort to make sure he starts at the back.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, Mark McCrary did the same thing. McCrary put in a time a little bit slower at a 1 minute 6.18. And for Clapper, his lap will be a 58.71.
What's your take on that, Frank? I mean, because you've driven this car and you've driven with a few leagues in this car. What's your take at starting in the back with it?
I mean, it's Daytona is effectively what it comes down to. But I don't mind it if you can keep the car clean and be in a position to where you can get up towards the end. That certainly puts you in a solid spot, no?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, we've seen guys climb through the field like gangbusters, but I'm always concerned about something popping off and I can't control it because at 190 miles an hour, it's real hard to jump on the binders and not get into something.
Yeah, absolutely, and we have 34 drivers tonight, which means we're going to be big time congested. So as we roll through the final minute here of this qualifying session, I'd like to remind you that coming up tomorrow will be the TNT Truck Series round number 8 from Dover International Speedway. That'll be a 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time start. And then it'll be a Friday triple header for us starting at 8:20 with the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series. They will be at Daytona, an 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time start. A good half hour after that will be the season opener for the Wicked Sim Racing League. They will be at Daytona as well. And then the KMM New Gen Cup Series will be at the Nashville Super Speedway at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time. So 3 shows coming your way this Friday night before a Saturday night off. And then it all kicks off again as we get our 4 broadcasts cooking on Sunday. It's going to be quite a weekend if you are a fan of racing, as we appear as though we are in a 5-minute warm-up session here. So drivers will get a couple of minutes here just to make sure they've got what they need and to make sure they're ready to go before we get going here for tonight's race. And Tony, we've seen what we feel like is so much of this car here recently on the network, and we've seen so much of it at super speedways here recently as well. These guys should know how to get around these cars, but still, they're still so new that maybe there's still one thing that they haven't figured out just yet.
Yeah, and that seems to be the biggest deficit when you come from other platforms. And I don't mean this as a slam in any way, shape, or form to the Xbox platform, to the PlayStation platform, or any other sim for the PC. But when you come over to iRacing, the cars react so differently than most drivers are used to. It takes a good maybe 2 years of solid running to be able to really get a handle on, okay, I know X is going to happen if I do Y, so I'm going to do Z to make sure that I can get to A.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is a full-on legitimate series now. We were talking to the guys prior to the race, and they were saying that this was an invitational series last season. Now it is a full-on pay-to-race league, and these guys have gotten some incredible turnouts last season. Last week they ran an exhibition race in the trucks at Myrtle Beach Speedway, which we would have loved to have done.
Oh, absolutely.
But these guys are going to have 34 drivers here tonight, and they're expecting close or similar numbers as this season goes on. I'm sure the trucks are going to be a little bit more popular than anything else, as they typically are. But these guys, again, know what racing is. They're on these teams. They're at the track almost every single week, if not every single week. To be able to get onto the track and actually do it in this sim, this has to be a huge release for these guys after getting beaten on all week.
Well, it's not only that, but being as someone that's been working on a team, if you can climb behind the wheel of a car and feel what that driver is feeling during the race, that helps you make your adjustments during the race. That helps you, the driver says, well, the car's doing this, and you've had it happen in the sim. You go, okay, if we change this, that might help. And being as, the sim, it helps the drivers hone their skill, but it also helps the mechanics hone their skill as well.
So it can be used both ways, as you just said. About 1:30 left here tonight before we actually get into this race, and I can't help but get really excited. This is something that came on so quickly, at least for us, as we've mentioned a couple of times.
Yeah.
This is, from what we've heard about the league and the little bit that we've been around these guys, I really cannot wait for this race here tonight. It's a full truck series length with essentially a full truck series field. This is going to be one heck of a show we're going to put on here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you take a look at the splits in qualifying. You're less than a tenth separating the top 20 drivers. So that's that's impressive.
Yeah, just slightly close.
A little bit. So, expect a giant pack, expect, a little bit of rubbing is racing. But the biggest thing these guys are going to have to be mindful of, especially with this car, we saw it in the real world at Daytona. We've seen it before in the sim at the plate tracks. You really have to be mindful if you put a bumper to somebody.
Yep, absolutely. And it is worth noting that it's going to get a little crazy at some points in this race because we are running stages in this series. Stage breaks tonight will be at laps 20 and lap 40. So as we are now finishing up the warm-up session, getting set to jump to the grid, let's take a look at how these guys will line up for the season opener here at Daytona. Starting on the pole with a time of 50.115, Ryan Zunk will take the first pole of the season with Tyler Truex 9/1000ths of a second adrift of him on the outside of row number 1. Dominique Cahart will take up row number 2 alongside Thomas Chowick in the 04. Seth Jodoris will line up to the inside of row 3 with Cameron Henn, Jake Waldman, and Cole Jodoris in row number 4. Thomas Aaron and Roger DeBold in row 5 with Tommy Allen Jr. and David Hall making up row number 6. Row 7 will go to Dustin Stallings with Jordan Jurassic in row number 7. Robert Walton and Anthony Burleson in row 8 with Matt Garrett and Ryan Harrison in row number 9. Greg Veal and Michael Grant will round out the top 20 and make up row 10.
11 is going to go to Steve Cherick as James is going to be starting. It's an all Cherick row number 11 with Stefan starting inside of James. Robert Barber and Matt Cherry rolling off in row 12. Row 13 goes to Scott Formosa and Nikolai Jardon. Steve Lisinski and Josh Koner going to roll off in row 14. Row 15 goes to Bobby Grant and Vince Burns. Chase Leahy and Justin Clapper in row 16. And starting shotgun on the field in row 17, Mark McCrary and Caleb Roche. So 34 cars scheduled to roll off here tonight, 100 laps of scheduled distance, 5 sets of tires to get them through tonight, 1 fast repair in their pocket.
So it'll be an interesting night here tonight as the weather conditions. We will see this race turn to darkness as we're around 6:30 p.m. sim time as we start this. 70-degree ambient temperature, 78-degree track temperature, 67% humidity, which is accounting for some of the haze that you're seeing. It's going to be a fun and fast night here for these guys.
Yeah, but Frank, it's that wind that's got me a little concerned. 4 mile an hour, gusting to 10. That's gonna wreak havoc on these guys coming out of 2.
Blowing to the northeast. These guys are going to have to worry about now something we're not used to seeing here on the sim. As far as our leagues go, these guys are lining up single file and heading down pit road here just prior to the start of this race. These guys are doing this to be able to spot their pit stalls a little bit easier. Just give them one free trip down pit road, spot your pit stall, line back up, and we'll get ready to go again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm liking that idea because, you might practice green flag pit stops under the practice session, but your pit stall can move very easily via qualifying. So, these guys are doing the right thing. They're getting everybody lined up. They're giving them an extra lap to get into position. So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, Frank.
Yeah, it is. It's quite a nice little change. It's always nice to pick up new leagues like this and to kind of see what the other leagues do in order to get these races going. And this is certainly one of the more unique ones that we've seen, but also one of the more beneficial for these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's no worse feeling, as I'm sure you can attest to, because I've seen you do it a couple of times on Monday nights. Mm-hmm. Is you practice that green flag pit stop, and you're like, okay, I can hit my marks doing this, and next thing you know, you're 10 spots down pit road, and oh crap, where do I go? Oops. And you slide through your pit stall and you tank it.
Yep, absolutely. So as these guys complete the final of the 2 formation laps coming out of turn 4, getting set for a wonderful season that we are about to embark on. Tony, take us to green.
Well, the lights are still on the pace car. They did extend it one more lap. So we are going to go around one more time. Lights should be going out on the Ford Mustang GT500 pace car this time by. And, yep, there they go, and here we go. So Zunk, Truex, Cahart, and Jolik going to be starting in your first 2 rows. And, it's going to be interesting to see who can I draft with. Who's going to be the one that I can work with all night.
I'm trying to find guys that guys that you're friendly with, and guys that you can absolutely try to work around with. And I'm sure that'll change over the course of the night. And another thing that would be nice to see here, you don't have to worry about manufacturer responsibilities. You don't have to work with a Ford here. And for some reason, I'm not quite sure what it is, the Toyota next-gen car is not one that gets a lot of play. Only one driver in a Toyota tonight. That's the 13 of Ryan Harrison.
Well, it kind of is what it is. Everybody's got their favorite, and like you said, you don't have to really pay attention to who you work for during the week. You can run what you want to in the simulator.
Yeah, absolutely. It's peculiar that really none of the next gen leagues that we broadcast have an abundance of Toyotas, unlike the Gen 6 cars. But now, Tony, take us to green.
Absolutely. As the pace car gets ready to duck on off, we're ready to turn them loose for 100 laps. The only thing that's left to do is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, make some popcorn and settle in, because it's time to get it on at Daytona. Race fans, it's showtime!
Tyler Truex already getting out to a nice little jump on that outside line. Ryan Zunk, however, has the bottom line working, trying to pull that 58 of Dominique Cahart on the inside. But it looks like the outside's going to prevail as Thomas Chowick on the outside line.
Yeah, absolutely. Chowick doing what he needs to do to help Truex as they both get the clear on that 57 of Henn. Henn was shot out of a cannon there as he's trying to make something happen right now. As we are still too wide, about 12 deep behind those front two.
Yep, guys towards the back starting to single file out, but up here towards the front, these guys are really trying to work their way up to the front. As that is the 38 of Roger DeBold leading that outside line, the 21 of David Hall behind him, with the 6 of Jordan Jurassic behind him. The only car is currently running on that outside line. Everyone else has migrated towards the inside, kind of a reverse of what we saw in real life for the Daytona 500 and what we've seen here recently. These cars tend to prefer that outside line. Tonight, they're wanting to run the bottom.
Well, it's still early. You know as well as I do that, everybody's kind of feeling it out right now. Again, brand new season. You got a lot of new faces. You're just trying to find your spot right this second as they're starting to get some more cars into that second lane. And as we've seen time and time again, if you can get the numbers, you can get the moves done. But you hit the nail on the head when we said in the real world, the drivers were complaining that the car seemed to be bogging on that low lane. Something just happened to the 57.
Yep, Cameron Henn. Now we usually expect to see cars bail out of that front group. Cameron Henn, I think, has bailed out a little bit more than he was anticipating that he would have wanted to, and he's now falling into the clutches of that second group. We have several distinct groups here. I think Cameron Henn just wanted out of that first group and into this second group as quickly as possible, as Matt Cherry, already up 8 positions, now leading that second group.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing some big movers. Josh Corner and Bobby Grant both are up 11 positions, running 16th and 17th, just at the front of that second group. So starting to really make some headway right now, as that front group still has not given an inch. They are still too wide, trying to make that second lane work up there.
Roger DeBold still running on that outside line, as that was the 6 of Jordan Jurassic that went a little bit wide. Other than that, everyone's still staying quite calm here at the moment. Seth Jodoris on that outside line, the last car of the 4 on that high line. And that high line sticking with those guys, able to side draft as you're seeing down the straightaways. Other than that not really making too much movement towards the front, but they're not falling back either.
Yeah, no, they're definitely not falling back. And I'm thinking that the more we wear these tires in and get the rubber into that second lane, the more that second lane is going to start to come around. As we've seen time and time again, since the latest tire package has come out in iRacing, that second lane seems to be the preferred lane. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen as they're coming up on a lap car. I believe that is the 904 that they are reeling in.
It's the 09 of Caleb Roach.
Now,
Caleb Roach, if I remember correctly, he's the one that did not qualify. He also decided to pit start here for this race. Michael Grant in the 904 missed the grid entirely and is just now beginning his race. So as the 09 of Caleb Roach starts to file in here in this outside line, he will be the first driver one lap down. So as we had mentioned before, a couple of distinct groups have formed here. This top group, this front group here, now 15 cars, 14 of them for position. The 66 of Robert Walton is the last car for position in this group. About 5 seconds adrift is this pack, being led by the 54 of Matt Cherry, running single file. They are 15th through 21st James Chiric at the back of this group in the number 37. Cameron Henn has decided to continue falling. He has Anthony Burleson right behind him as these two run in a pair. Another 4.5 seconds back, you will find the next pairing. That would be Robert Barber in the 8 and Dominique Cahart, who remember started up in the 3rd position. And then about 2 seconds off, you've got this group here being led by Thomas Aaron in the 93, going all the way to Mark McCrary in the 32. So these guys are quite spread out here, not necessarily thinking about the stage win coming up in about 12 laps time, thinking about the overall win coming up in about 92 laps time.
Yeah, just pretty much concerned with finding their teammates, making sure that you can get that communication to work with each other. And I'm really thinking that's what Cherry did with or not Cherry, Henn did when he picked up the 79 of Burleson. I believe those two guys are teammates, and they were working very well together during the practice session. So now that they've been able to find each other again, expect to see them start to make up some time as we work forward.
Outside line has picked up a new leader. That would be Tommy Allen in the number 24, now leading that outside group. He's got the 38 of Roger DeBold and Jordan Jurassic in that Pepsi number 6, running just behind. Seth Jadoris bringing up the rear of that group as these guys now come up to pass the 904 of Michael Grant, who again now getting put 5 laps down after missing the first 4 laps of the race.
Yeah, that's a tough break right there. And he's doing the right thing. He's staying very high, giving the lead lap cars a lot of room. And here comes the 98 of Jadoris up into that top lane to try to pull them along now.
Not quite able to work. Big wiggle there out of Ryan Zunk on the inside line as we ride off the back of Thomas Chowick. Is big wiggles on that outside line as some guys now starting to want to move forward. That's the
Jadoris
06 of Jake Waltman.
Jadoris just ate the wall in the 98, so not the start to this race that Cole was hoping for.
You can see the right front damage on that number 89 of Cole Jadoris. Spread the back end of that group out a little bit. The 09 and the 904 there behind them are laps down. So Cole is the last lead lap car in that group. Robert Walton looks like he's trying to hold onto the back of the group as well. Looks like that was the 6 of Jurassic that's now starting to fall back.
Yeah, he's got no help up there in that second lane. So he's got to hope for an opening. As we are 12 laps into this 100-lap feature. Sorry, that was the dirt track of me. I apologize, folks.
Oh, you're good. As the 38 of DeBold now leading that outside line again. It's the 06 of Waltman behind him. That's the 4 of Seth Jadoris. Running side by side, a little bit of contact there between the 4 and the 38, heading through turns 3 and 4. Nothing doing, though. Spreads that inside line out just a little bit.
Yeah, it gives some gaps up there so that those guys in the second lane, if they want to get down, they can in some places. Other places, not so much. But the 38 sticking to his guns on that I lane. DeBold still leading that charge up there as he does have a little bit of help. And, all it takes is 2 cars that know what they're doing as he's going to drop into that low lane. No, he's not.
He's going to stay out. Oh, now he is. Is that 06?
And both hands against the middle.
trying to, yeah, he seems content to want to run that outside line, but you also need a little bit of help in sticking with the front pair because Tyler Truex and Thomas Schoeck have seemed pretty content out there on that inside line. And Ryan Zunk, we saw what he was able to do in qualifying. We know he's got a good car in that 23. Go back a little bit more here. This is riding on board with the 24 of Tommy Allen Jr. He's trying to take a big run on the inside, on the outside line, and he's going to gain a couple spots from it.
A slingshot engaged for the 24 as he's now running side by side with Jordan Dvorak as he's now going to duck in between the 21 of David Hall and Dvorak and try to make something happen. Got shuffled out there.
Certainly did. And we've seen it so much. You get such a run in these cars that if you're able to, one, work the run, and two, work the side draft, you can very easily on that outside start to march up through the field, and that's what Tommy Allen tried to do. Now he's got some help behind him as David Hall jumps up to help him, but now he's got Jordan Jurassic on the outside, and watch the run that these three are going to get now.
You mean 4, because here comes company. Make that 5, because here comes the 38 again to the high side.
And we're getting towards the end of the stage here as Roger DeBold on that outside line now trying to put a little bit of pressure on the 04 of Choick and the 69 of Truex. It's Mark McCrary on the outside line getting lapped at the moment.
In a very wounded 88.
Yeah, he had caught in the wall earlier. Was able to get off the racetrack. Now there is...
Oh, here we go.
Yep. Side-by-side action here for the race lead. I got a couple laps to go here before the end of the stage. And DeBold looking to lead for the first time since about lap 1 or 2. When Ryan Zunk crossed the line first. Roger DeBold leading a lap, taking that one away from Tyler Truex. And now taking Waltman in the 06 down on the inside line with him.
You know, and that's what you like to see is, the guy that's pushing it, bring him with you. Absolutely. You know you can work together. Don't just abandon him, just work with him.
Just riding on board with Jake Waltman in that 06. Trying to stick as close as he can. Truex getting really close out the back there, and you can see that second group was about 5 seconds behind. The second group is now closed down to 1.8.
Got lined out, and they're starting to reel him in. They're running out of time in this first segment.
Got a little bit of a bridge there with the 88 of Mark McCrary, so they'll get a little bit of a speed boost if they decide to take it. But boy, they've made quite the comeback. Again, being about 5 1/4 seconds down now to being only a second and a half with 2 laps to go here in this first stage. Big wiggle out of the 4 of Seth Jadoris. My goodness.
How did he save that?
No idea, but what a save by that 4. So unfortunately, it's what happens when you flirt with that yellow line, though.
Oh, absolutely. As Truex was looking to make it pretty wide there for a second. Thought better of it, and that really jacked up that outside lane.
Yep.
As we should see the, pit road closed last time by, so we should see the caution at the end of...
I believe at the end of this lap here is...
Yeah.
This is 69 of Truex. Looking to the outside, he's got the 04 of Choick right behind him, pushing. Tommy Allen also giving a shot on the inside line. It looks to be Roger Diebold who is going to cross the line. And I believe, no, it looks like it's going to be the end of this lap.
That's what it looks like. And Diebold hasn't given an inch in that 38 right now.
Absolutely has not.
69 the 04, trying to make something happen in that second lane. But Waltman pushing the daylights out of Diebold.
Yep, pushing the daylights out of Diebold, but also that 04 of Chowick pushing the heck out of Tyler Truex. Almost side-by-side contact between the 69 and the 06. That 06 really loose on the inside line. Coming to the line, though, the inside line looks to have the momentum, and just as it was the lap before, Roger Diebold will cross the line, and he will win stage number 1.
Diebold, Waltman, Zunk, Truax, Jurassic, Chowick, Allen Jr., Vale, Gajoris, and Walton rounding out your top 10.
So one heck of a race to the end of the first stage. And what we'll do right now is we'll take a quick timeout. We'll be right back as these guys get lined up, get set for the pace car, get set for the first round of pit stops. Roger Diebold, the first stage winner of the season here at Daytona. Back live here at the Daytona International Speedway for round number 1 of the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series, as the 7 drivers that decided to stay out on the first round of pit stops come in this time, and that would leave Jordan Jurassic in the number 6 as the leader of this race. Stage 1 winner Roger Diebold will line up in second as the 904. I believe will look to fall towards the back here as lights are out on the Ford Mustang safety car. And for good news for all of you in the chat,
Yes.
who are cheering for one Caleb Roche. He is back on the lead lap now, running in the 24th position.
Not exactly sure what's going on with the 904 because he was in front of. There he goes.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah, he should have been the wave around car.
Yeah.
And he's getting one of his laps back now, and I think because of that, they're going to have to delay the restart here.
Well, if they don't, he's going to probably cold trickle the field.
Now it looks like they're going to let him. Looks like they're going to go for it. His car is now starting to double file up. Jordan Jurassic in the 6. Roger Diebold on the outside of row number 1.
And they just extended the caution.
Yep, there it goes. And to be fair, as anticipated, because Grant is just getting onto the back straightaway right now. Again,
there's a little miscommunication there about where he had to go.
And for those of you just joining us, Michael Grant in this position of being 4 laps down after missing the grid and then missing the first 4 laps of the race. So he started late. He's actually going to bring it down pit road right now is Michael Grant. Not sure if it's... I mean, we've seen a plethora of hardware issues on the channel recently. No, he's straight up pit stop here. So he's going to see if he can get back at least somewhat close to the field here before we get to go back to green flag racing.
Yeah, he should be able to catch him.
So working lap 25 will go green at the quarter distance mark. And this will be about a 15-lap stage, as the next stage break will be at lap 40. And then we will go 60 to the end, which would most likely mean green flag pit stops at some point during that third and final stage. And assuming the fuel tank, it'll probably be with about 20 to go, as pace car getting set to duck off. Jordan Jurassic leading them down, about to go back to green flag racing. There we go, here from Daytona at the quarter mark.
Absolutely, is Diebold and Jurassic still side by side in lockstep as the 23 of Zunk jumps up to try to help the 38. Nobody really pushing too hard yet. And we've got a little bit tighter grouping than we did on the initial green flag.
Starting to see a little bit, though, of a group starting to form, as that was Jake Waltman, who we saw in that black number 06 jump up to the outside line right at the very beginning of that run, right before they got to turn 1. And it looks as though the top 10 or so are right there on each other. Then a little bit of a gap to the 26 of Greg Vale, who just got chopped off by the 9 of Joshua Corner.
As you do early on in a green flag run.
Oh, big swing out wide. That was the 89 of Cole Jadoris. He went from that inside line to the outside line and didn't leave much to the imagination of it.
No, he did not. But the good news is he does have that car fixed.
Yes, he does.
was able to burn his fast repair.
No, he didn't, because we could see we're riding on board.
Oh, no, he
here.
didn't.
Riding on board, you can see just above that right side flap on the hood where the air vents are, there's that little seam that's not on the left side, so he got that fixed. Deciding not to waste the fast repair for something
So
that minor.
That was the Jackman doing a cannonball on the hood then.
Yep, absolutely. Is starting to slice and dice, make his way up towards the front. That's Steven Lachinsky that he just dove under in that Monster Jam, number 99 Camaro. And Lachinsky now will drop to that inside line.
As you do right there is Cherick trying to make something happen now in the 83. Getting a decent pull down the front chute. So that second lane, if they can get just a little bit more organized, they might have a run at it.
They've got about 5 or 6 cars up there right now, being led by somebody who has appeared to be very comfortable on that outside line here tonight. That's Jake Waltman in the 06. 21 of David Hall pushing him on that outside line. Look at the moving and shaking around the back of that group. That was Robert Barber in the number 8.
And the 13 of Harrison.
Ryan Harrison. Ooh, that's
playing
the wall.
Oof.
So that will certainly affect him for the next 10 laps or so. See the 80 of Scott Formosa on the outside line. Is this pack here, this is more akin to what we're used to seeing here at Super Speedway Racing.
Absolutely.
The pack is pretty well split.
And we've got a new leader.
Yes, we do. That's the 06 of Jake Waltman. A couple cars bailing out at the back of that group. That's Jordan Jurassic in the 6, Thomas Chowick in the 04. As DeBold holding firm behind that 06. This leaves the 21 of David Hall. Out front and around goes the 13. Yep, that's Ryan Harrison. We stay green since Harrison got off the racing surface. We might need to call a caution now.
You're going to have to because he's stuck.
Live race control tonight, which is why a caution has yet to be called.
What the hell?
And he is not. There we go. Now the caution comes out.
Better late than pregnant. Holy cow. Yeah, that was a pucker moment for those guys coming around. You come through the tri-oval, and there's a guy sitting sideways on the apron.
Yep, absolutely. And he was trying to get it straightened out. It just got... I mean, what's the opposite of high-centered? We're used to seeing Formula One cars or Indy cars get high-centered on curbs and not be able to roll. He got teetering on that front and back bumper on the banking there and just couldn't get it straightened out. This is what happened. This is prior to the caution getting called. And see here, he's just doesn't have the momentum to get up the banking. 3-wheel drive.
He ain't going anywhere.
Nope.
So do want to thank everybody for joining us in the live chat right now. Let us know who you're pulling for. I see a lot of Caleb Roach fans still checking in. And Tammy Kelly, you're absolutely right. That was a pucker moment.
You saw there on the replay, that was 100% self-inflicted for Ryan Harrison, trying to go from the outside line to the inside line, and was not clear off the front end of Greg Vale in the 26. Was the other car involved? So we're seeing some guys head down pit road. And pit stops here. Steven Lachinsky's the first car onto pit road. Pit stops here would typically mean we are not going to be seeing these guys come in at the stage break.
Safe assumption.
So these guys decided to get their pit stop out of the way now. As we are working our first caution for incident here tonight. So it'll be Jake Waltman, Roger DeBold, Ryan Zunk, David Hall, Justin Stallings, Cole Jadoris, Stephen and James Schierick, Scott Formosa, and Matt Cherry will be in your top 10. And also another note for the Roach Army in the chat right now. There's the 09 running in 15th position. He is the only driver that has not yet come down pit road. He's come down pit road only once, and that was on the formation lap to spot the box.
Right.
And another feather in the hat, at least for the moment. He is our biggest mover, plus 19.
Yeah, but in front of him, there's a lot of team numbers as well.
Yep.
Both the Sherricks are up 14. Formosa's up 16. Cherry's up 14. Grant's up 17. Barber 12. I mean, there's a lot of big movers right now, but that has to do with a lot of guys going down pit road to get their service done to kind of get off strategy a little bit.
So Greg Vale, see him in the 26. He was the first car off of pit road. During this set of pit stops. The field now starting to double up. Because I believe the caution's been extended again here.
It has.
So we are going to have about 5 laps of racing before we hit the stage. Still trying to figure out wave around cars, as that was believed. No, it was
Justin
not. It was
Clapper.
just, yep, it was Justin Clapper who gets one of his laps back. Clapper in the 63 was 2 laps down. Now just 1, and he is the only car at the moment that is 1 lap down. Michael Grant in the 904 is the only other driver that is a lap down, and he is a good 4 laps down at the moment.
Still plenty of time left.
Absolutely. Can never give up on races like this.
Oh, absolutely not.
Always something usually can and will happen at these races. As we are getting set to go back to green flag racing for what we hope is the 5-lap shootout before the end of the stage.
Well, as much as they were pushing and shoving before the caution came out, I can only imagine what it's going to be coming to the stage break. And for some reason, the 21 does not want to get up next to the 23.
It took a second before these guys got side by side the last run, so we'll see what these guys do here. Next week, another exciting race for these guys set to come. Coming up on the 30th of March. 120 laps from Phoenix in the trucks is what we will see next week. The week after that will be the Xfinity cars at Auto Club for 100 laps, and then a week off before we're back in the next gen car at Atlanta on the 20th of April. Insert your 420 joke here.
No, I'll wait.
So lights are out on top of the pace car. Pace car is off. 5 laps until the end of the stage. Jake Waltman will lead them down. We are back under green.
Waltman may have gotten too big of a jump as he drops down in front of the 38 of Diebold to try to pick him up. Diebold working with Zunk right now on that low lane, and it looks like they're going to be content to just ride right there.
Dustin Stallings allowing the 21 of David Hall to get to that inside line as well. The top 5 running single file. Cole Jadoris leading that outside line, starting to work his way up. It's the 54 of Matt Cherry up there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these guys are impressing me so far. I know it's a newer league to iRacing, but good grief. I mean, just the action that we've seen in the first segment, now in the second segment, this is nothing short of impressive.
Absolutely. We're riding on board with Scott Formosa on that outside lane, running in the 12th position at the moment. It's the 8 of Robert Barber just to his inside. And you can see just how much, especially on the inside line, it can show a little bit on the TV camera. But once you get on board, you really get a good sense of how much these cars are moving around. Oh, speaking of going around, there goes Roger DeBold, and a big accident here at Daytona.
Oy vey. The 21 just went over.
Yep. 21, the 9, the 14, the 80, the 5, 54, 9, 83.
Basically everybody in the top 12.
The 11 just caught some of it. And good news for these guys, there is one fast repair here tonight, so this does not spell the end of their night. This might, however, spell the end of the stage.
The heck?
So we'll take a
What
look.
was the 11 doing?
Not quite sure. I'm sure we'll see it here in the replay.
Oh, that was an Arca Break Weekly moment.
Let's take a look back at it. See the 38 pushing the 6, well, the 06, and the 23 just got a little bit too close. The 54 of Cherry right in it. The 21 of Hall took a wild ride. Just try to jump on board here with Hall. Just tried to power through it. He was just too close to that inside line, and that's what it's like to go flipping in one of these. Dustin Stallings on board camera. This is the 5. And I mean, just when he took another wild ride.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, it just comes a point where there's really nothing you could do.
No, but it stems back to what we always talk about at the plate tracks. Don't push the pusher.
Well, no, that wasn't even it. It was the 38 tried to come down. We're riding on board. This is with Joshua Coroner, and you can just see his reaction to the incident happening in front of him. There we go. Now he got something. So a wild wreck, and first one of the night. Now, as Tony mentioned, these guys do have a fast repair here tonight.
And they're blaming the 23 for that one.
I would agree. 38 moved up. 23 didn't let him back in line, which triggered that. So Ryan Zunk, who's been running up in the top 3 a majority of the night, I would have to say is now going to go to the back. It's Formosa with a fast repair used. Tommy Allen Jr. in the 24 looks good.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that just had to burn their fast repair, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing is they had it. Bad thing is if another big one pops off, they're not going to have it.
Yeah, no. Now, I would assume, unless, have you seen any official word in the chat, Tony, that was the stage break?
They have not said as much.
All right, so let's see here. Tony, if you wouldn't mind jumping up into the admins to ask.
Yep,
or
working on it right now.
That would be appreciated. Justin White in race control here tonight. We will take a look and see whether or not that was the stage break. If it was the stage break, Jake Waltman is the winner of stage 2.
That was stage.
Okay, so that was stage. So Jake Waltman, as we assumed it would be. So Jake Waltman in the 06 was the stage winner for stage number 2, and we will now see who will go for the overall win. 60 laps to go. We are green again here from Daytona.
A lot of racing left to go, and we were kind of expecting a big one to pop off. We just didn't think it was going to take that many cars with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Chase Leahy on the inside line without a front clip on that machine.
I don't think he realizes that.
But now he's going to bail out. Not too bad an idea.
Yeah, because somebody just told him that, yeah, man, you're missing your nose piece.
57 of Cameron Henn also bailing out, going to the back. As Seth Jadoris will lead his first laps of the evening with the 3 of Matt Garrett running closely behind. Jake Waltman overtaken.
And Waltman going to jump up to that second lane to pick up Cole Jadoris.
We've seen a couple of guys really favor that outside line here tonight, and the 06 of Waltman is certainly one of them. The 89 of Cole Jadoris is certainly another. The 38 of Roger DeBold also. Those are the 3 guys that when you think of guys running on the outside line tonight, those are the 3 that immediately jump out. Speaking of jumping out, Cole Jadoris on the outside line.
Do it.
Looking to make a third.
Oh, he got shuffled out there. I don't think he had much choice in the matter as the 93 just filled the gap.
It's the 93 of Thomas Aaron. First time we're seeing Thomas Aaron up here in quite some time. Qualified 9th, running in 5th at the moment in that number 93.
Still running side by side, though, at the front of this piece. It's Jadoris on the low side, Waltman on the high side. As no quarter asked for, no quarter given here in the opening salvo of the final segment. We've seen a ton of action here tonight, Frank. And if this is any indication of what the rest of the season's going to bring, you're absolutely right. We lucked into a league.
Absolutely is. Jake Waltman swings right down to the inside in front of Seth Jadoris.
My hill.
Oh, and now trying to jump up to try to block off. Boy,
no. 3 wide.
Get some close racing here. That might not have worked out for Waltman. He might have cut his nose to spite his face at this point, because that puts both Seth and Cole Jadoris line astern. At least for the moment it did, as now the 4 are starting to fall back. Quite sure he's looking to bail out, I guess, was that 4 of Cole Jadoris, and he's in the wall now in 1 and 2. And he will fall to the back of that line. And that's a 20-car pack. Anthony Burleson, the last car in that pack. So a big group here, the biggest of the front groups that we've seen all night long.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a 3-car breakaway starting to form at the very front of this thing. Waltman, Garrett, and Vale running stem to stern right now. And you got to think Waltman he's up against it, because Vale and Garrett are teammates. So good luck, Jake Waltman.
Absolutely. But Waltman has shown the power in that 09, or in that 06, pardon me. It's Robert Barber trying to battle for inside line supremacy, as that's Tyler Truex on the inside. Looking to shuffle back into line. Cole Jadoris pushing away on that outside line. Gets the 93 of Thomas Aaron out in front. And these guys moving all over the place right now.
Yeah, the 88 of... Yeah, that was the 88 of McCrary.
No, there's 2 88s. The one that's up here in this front pack is the 8 of Barber.
Oh.
And here he is going for the race lead on that outside line, flying solo. And we had mentioned earlier tonight, you can do that. If you can work the side draft well enough and you take a big enough run, as Thomas Aaron jumps out, as there goes Waltman. Waltman around in the 06. We stay green far enough off the racing surface. Waltman gets back on it. Now the caution comes out. Our second caution for incident tonight. And because of all the checking up, I think Robert Barber is going to take the lead of this race. See what happened here with Waltman. It just started to happen right on the left side of the screen. Is up here. Running back with him now. Trying to see.
The 3 got into him and didn't hit him square.
And to say that we've seen that a couple of times is an understatement.
Brad. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
No, not at all. You're all good. Let's try to get a better look at this one more time here. Yep, he's already off. I'm just trying to go back far enough. Oh, here we go. This might help. Look for the name on the incident. That might help. Yep, here he comes. Yep, hooks him.
Just pushed him right around, and
yep.
You're helpless at that point if you're the guy getting turned. Good news is Waltman should have his fast repair available.
Not a lot of damage on that number 06.
There's a lot of rear end damage on it.
Yep.
He got sent sideways and then finished off. And
oh no, he's definitely gonna be taking it. He's missing a quite a key component.
Yeah.
You get a good look at the engine of these new next-gen cars before Waltman will very rudely take his fast repair, and we'll see it all disappear.
As you do.
As you certainly do. Getting to the halfway point of this race, there's the hood pop back on. So at the halfway point, it will be Robert Barber leading this race from Scott Formosa, Cole Jadoris, Ryan Harrison, and Josh Corner, your top 5.
And if you are watching in the live chat, thank you for joining us. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button because it really helps share these videos with the YouTube nation. The more thumbs up it gets, the more the algorithm says, hey, maybe more people would want to see this. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications because we do this just about every night of the week. Most of the time, it's double and triple headers with a quadruple header this coming Sunday.
Absolutely. We got 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday. We got 3 now on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday, 3 on Friday now. Saturday's our only clear night. And then 4 on Sunday. So we got quite a number of races going on here. And especially if you want to hit that subscribe button if you want to follow the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing series all season long, because this is where they will be. And you picked one heck of a night to start with the season opener here from Daytona.
Nothing short of impressive from what I've seen so far out of a group of guys that they turn the wrenches on these cars in the real world.
Yep.
They're not the drivers in the real world. They're, the tire changers. They're the engine builders, the chassis manufacturers, the tire men that work on these cars every week. And, like we talked during the pre-race, Frank, this is one of the best tools that a mechanic can use when working with a driver. And the driver says, well, the car did this. Well, you experienced something like that in the sim. How did you fix it? You did this. Well, let's try that on the car.
Absolutely.
So one of the best tools that a mechanic can have in their toolbox is the iRacing simulator.
Bump yourself up from a tire changer to a crew chief real quick with that.
Oh, absolutely.
As getting set to go back to green flag racing at the halfway point. Here from Daytona, pace car is off. Robert Barber leading him down. Green flag is back out. 50 down, 50 to go.
Absolutely. As the 80 of Formosa trying to make something happen on that second lane. The 8 kind of playing both halves against the middle, jumps up to pick up the 80 and just hangs Jadoris out to dry. Jadoris, though, does have Harrison up there with him. Side by side for second down the super stretch.
And look who else is now joining the party. Jordan Jurassic. We saw him up. He was a big-time player in the first stage. The 80 of Formosa just dives out of his way to get to the inside. And now the 6 will pick up the 8 of Barker, trying to keep him up towards the front. But he's also brought Thomas Chowick in that 04 up with him.
Yeah, Chowick having a good recovery run. As we do have a little bit of a breakaway. Top 14 starting to pull a gap on Roger Diebold in the 38, not having the same luck that he was having during that first segment, as Barber going to lead that lap, but for how much longer, as Formosa with a head of steam on that low lane.
And Formosa has Cole Jadoris, who's been one of the better pushers here tonight, pushing him on that inside line. Ryan Harrison in the 13 also looking to come through. Name we haven't spoken much about, James Chiric in that number 37 on the outside, having a solid night after starting in the lower 20s, now up into the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. As Barber, though, right now, looking to play both halves against the middle, as he's getting a good shove from Jurasic. Sorry.
It'll take,
I apologize, folks.
It'll take a couple races before we get the names correct here. I'm sure we're mispronouncing a couple. But
And
as they yell at us
you,
as the
you
weeks go by, we'll start to get it.
well, you and I, we both have difficult last names to pronounce too, so feel free, roast us.
It's around. Speaking of roasting, around goes the 37 of Tariq. 23
Oy.
there as well. The 4 behind it, the 54, and that's unfortunate. The 54 has already used a fast repair.
They're still piling into that thing.
Yep. Matt Cherry.
26 just hooked him and turned him.
Yep, he was the center. He was really in the center of that the first big incident at the end of the second stage.
Yikes.
Look through. Roger DeBold with front end damage in the 38. 58's got some front end. Ryan Zunk. I was just about, when you were done there, was just going to say how quickly he got back up through the field after getting sent to the back as the cause of the first big one.
Yeah.
And now that's completely out the window.
Now he's the cause of the second big one.
No, he wasn't the cause of it. He was in the middle of it.
No.
Well, let's see. Try to get this replay up here. We get a couple laps through this time.
Vail tried to make it 3 wide going into 3, and
yep.
there wasn't room.
Yeah, that was definitely on the 26, unfortunately, of Vail. On the 38, that was a hard hit. At the 38 gave the 23. Try to see from above. Following the 21 of David Hall. It's going to be a little bit behind this. Watch the 26. Going into turn 3. There's the spin. 99 also catches a piece of it. And we'll try to ride on board now.
Matt Cherry's called it a night.
Yeah, I'd spoken about that a second ago. Right on board. This is with Matt Cherry here. See, the incident happened in front. He's in this second group just trying to chill. 09 runs into... just picked the wrong way, did Cherry.
Yep.
Yeah, so there were really 2 incidents. As this is what Seth DeJoris had to deal with. Guys scatter. 55 hits him. Then the 09 baps the 55 again. And that's what sends the 4 around. So a whole mess for what would be our 4th incident caution of the night. 6th total, counting the stage breaks. Or pardon me, 5th total, counting the stage breaks. My apologies. David Hall in the 21 being scored the race leader. Bobby Grant in 2nd. Stefan Chiric in 3rd. Jake Waltman now comes back up to the front here. And then from Cole Jadoris on back, all of those guys came into pit under this caution. And everyone's going to have to come in at least one more time.
Right.
Question is now, if the race goes green, certainly drivers 5 on back are going to have quite the run. David Hall last came into pit on lap 38.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he's banking on a caution happening sooner rather than later in that number 21.
I mean, we know that we can get about 30 laps out of a tank of Go Fast here.
Yeah, about 30 to 35.
But when you're already 20 in,
You're banking on something happening now.
you just put yourself behind the 8 ball if something doesn't pop off.
Tony, why don't you bring us down this time?
As the field works out of turn number 4, Mustang GT500 pace car, the official pace car of iRacing, get ready to peel it on off. There it goes, and here we go. Back at a restart. Green flag is out. Working lap 57 of 100. Hall getting a good run, but Grant getting a good shove from Waltman as Waltman's back up towards the front of this piece.
Certainly is, as Bobby Grant standing quite firm on that outside line with the 06. Waltman with a solid run again. Top 12 now starting to break away a little bit, as it looks like Thomas Aaron bailing out. And swapping lanes is that 24 of Tommy Allen. Around goes the 14. Bobby Grant around in the infield.
That was net code pure and simple. He disappeared on the backstretch. Waltman dropped down, and unfortunately, when he reappeared, Grant was inside of the 6.
So now the 14. No caution here. So he is all straightened out, and fortunately for the 06 of Waltman, he appears to be clean on the nose.
Well, that's the good news.
Absolutely.
Oh,
It's
no.
the 9 trying to get out of the way, and does successfully.
Does the right thing, gets to the high lane, and stays there.
Yep, absolutely. We'll take a look and see what happened to send Bobby Grant around. And Tony, as you had mentioned, netcode. Nope. Let's try this again here.
Oh, he's not going to appear for you because he wasn't there.
No, I understand that. I just got to get to it quick enough. And there we go. There's the blink in. And as simple as that. Around went the 14. I think it was because of that net code as to why the caution did not come out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Far enough off the racing surface, number 1. It wasn't really a racing incident. It was a connection issue. So the front pack here is starting to single file out, and a little bit of a gap forming between 11th and 12th. That is 11th place Robert Walton, who has been at the back end of the front pack the entire night. Really hasn't made much of an effort to go up through the field, but Walton has been hanging around the back end of that front pack, just trying his best to be there when the time comes.
Well, I mean, he's got a clean car, and that's half the battle here in the closing lap. As we are going to be 40 to go at the stripe. So, we haven't seen the money stop yet. The question is, how much more fuel does David Hall have in the 21?
Riding on board with Walton right now, and you can see and hear just how much he's having to play with this throttle. It's not as straightforward as it seems. Sure, a monkey can hold it on the throttle and go left, but once you get in the pack, you really have to play around. You have to be on alert here at all times.
Yeah, very much so. As a little bit of side-by-side action in the second lane, trying to form up again. They just don't have enough players up there to make that team work yet. And just as I say that, now they've got the numbers.
On board, this is Scott Formosa with our gyro cam tonight. See how impressive that banking is. And how much wiggling you have to do on that outside line as he's pushing Robert Barker to the race lead.
Absolutely. The 8 back to the point, getting shoved by the 80. The 80 going to bail down low first.
Quite.
Or not. They stay up. They're staying in that second lane.
And again, this is what we expected from the beginning. These guys to prefer that outside line over the inside hasn't really materialized. You said watch and wait till later in the race. This appears as though what we've got now, we've gotten later in the race, outside line looking like it's going to reign supreme as Steven Sharik dives to the inside trying to make some sort of run.
Yeah, absolutely. He's trying to make something happen. He just doesn't have anybody willing to work with him right now.
Not quite, as Waltman takes it 3 wide. Unless he is trying actively to get to the back of that group, which I totally see as being a reason. But, yep, we've got the train on the outside line now. Everyone except the 06 and the 21 have migrated up to that outside line.
And I think the only reason they haven't is because they can't yet.
Let's take a look off the gearbox, off the back bumper of the 89. This is Cole Jadoris riding on board.
Great recovery drive for Harrison in the 13, by the way.
Yep, absolutely. He was spinning around backwards not that long ago as he actually goes for it on the inside line, trying to take that run. Doesn't have any help as Waltman jumps to the outside. The 21 of Hall doing the same. Yep, 13 tried to take the run on the inside and stalls out with no help.
Hung out to dry completely.
Absolutely. One name we haven't really called since the end of the first stage, Tyler Truex in the 69, currently leading the second group, 1.3 seconds off the front group. These guys are running the inside line, making some nice headway up to the top 11. Truex bringing this 6-car pack, about to make it a 17-car pack for the race lead.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with the head of steam that they've got, they're almost 6 miles an hour faster than that lead group.
Truex led the first 17 laps of this race. And now they're starting to chug along on the inside line. The 13 of Harrison tried to break their momentum. Not going to happen, as there's the 4 you see getting lapped. And you can just see by this view, look at the run the inside line has. Oh, and around goes the 13 again. 13 of Harrison able to keep it out of that inside wall. Keep it straight. We stay green.
That's the second biggest save we've seen all night.
I mean, you think of it, you see an incident like this, and you think of, oh, gee, I don't know, Ricky Rudd, Danica Patrick has had a big hit down there. Jimmy Johnson's had a couple of big hits. Joey Logano in his
Senior.
rookie year. Yep, Earnhardt.
Yeah.
Taking that same exact hit, getting dumped out of 4 and hitting that pit wall. What
How
a
many times did we
save by
see it
Harrison.
How many times did we see that same hit in the old IROC series?
Yep, absolutely. And speaking of, well, we said it wasn't going to take long for Truex to get to the lead.
Holy cow.
That inside line's already gotten him there. Matt Garrett pushing him all the way. Steven Lachinsky there as well in the 99.
And look at the front of the 3 of Garrett.
Yep.
Tell me he hasn't been pushing the daylights out of everybody tonight.
Yep, you can see the damage on the front end of that machine. Jump on the back of Truex, and that's a little bit more than bump drafting damage. He
Flame
got
drafting
into
damage.
someone. Yeah, he got into something at some point. But this is one of those characteristics. I can tell you from experience, not in Atlanta. That thing would kill you in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
But super speedway racing, these cars really are built like tanks. You can really ram these things around and still have a pretty solid car.
Well, I remember, when I had my turn in the garage area for the Cup Series, whenever we'd come to Daytona or Talladega, we had half-inch boilerplate lining the nose of the car.
Let's give a little bit more rigidity.
A little? You could take a sledgehammer to it
trying to
and
be
dent
generous
it.
here. That was Robert Barber on the outside line in the 8, trying to work his way back forward. And wouldn't you know it, Roach Army, go crazy. 09 up to P4, plus 30 on the evening.
We've got a lot of Caleb Roach fans in the chat right now. Let us hear it.
Go for it.
He's got a hell of a run going.
Absolutely.
And, we still haven't seen the money stop. So that's going to be the key, is who does he go with? And I'm still surprised that David Hall is still out on track.
Yeah, absolutely. Take a look. So the last time the top 5 came down pit road, Truex, Garrett, Lachinsky, and Roach all came in on lap 54. Hall on lap 38. So he's 31 laps into the run now, is the 21. He is not far away at all from needing to pit.
He's got to be, if he's not on bingo yet, he's going to be in the next lap or two.
We've spoken about Robert Walton being at the back end of the lead group. He's not there anymore, up to P6. He'll inherit P5 momentarily when the 21 comes into pit. Cole Jadoris there as well in the 89. This front group has broken up a little bit. Top 8 have split. Second 8 have split.
A lot of big movers up at the front of this field already. You get Garrett up 15, Lachinsky up 24, Roach is up 30. So who says you can't pass in the next-gen car at Daytona?
Yeah, absolutely. We are 30 laps to go. We are within the point where you can make it the rest of the way on fuel from here. Tyler Truex has taken the lead for the first time since lap 17. Matt Garrett and Steven Lachinsky closely following. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more of the season opener of the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series from Daytona. Caution number 6 happening under brake. And it was as the guys were trying to get around lap traffic. And it looked like it was the 04 and the 99 that really kicked it off.
It was definitely the 4.
Take a look here.
Yeah, that was the Fastenal Ford of Joris.
Should be happening too far up here.
Oh.
We're about a half a lap behind, I think. Yep, here we go. Now, that's the 904 and the 14 that the leaders are getting around right now. And then the 4 of Jadoris is right here, and they caught Jadoris. That's just unfortunate because they caught Jadoris at the worst possible time. Jadoris going slow on the outside as the leaders were still trying to get around the other two that they were lapping, the 14 and the 74, the 14 and the 904. This is off of Vince Burns. Really trying to lock it down, and the 4 just comes sliding right in front of him.
Jeepers.
This is from Jadoris. You can see the lead car is just at the worst possible time. Like I wouldn't be pinning blame there. That was just poor timing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the 24 of Allen getting involved. There's the 55 coming in. We also saw up towards the front. Roach Army, close your eyes. There's Caleb Roach. He just... Oh, that's a hard hit for him. There's the 80 of Formosa again. 89 there as well. 04 caught up in that also.
6 catching a big piece of it. The 5 catching a piece of it.
There's the 04 wreck happening. They get through the first half, and then it's the 99 spinning like a top in the middle of the track that creates the second bit. Ooh. We'll ride on board here because I think you guys may have just seen it as well as me. Watch Greg Vale get through this at the end.
Oh, yeah. No,
Backing off. Watch out. Just misses there. Just misses the 24. Just misses the 6.
That was the save of the night.
Yeah, Greg, if you want to send that to iRacing, I think you might get on the top 10 for the month. You got a solid chance at it, I think. Getting set.
I do want to thank everybody who is joining us in the chat.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. And just thank you.
This has been
okay.
One of the more fun nights on the chat that we've had.
Oh my goodness.
I'm assuming it's the interlock.
No, asking for the NASCAR wellness policy to be put into effect.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely love we love you guys in the chat, and we love having an interactive chat, and it's wonderful for us to see. So just making it even more fun that we picked these guys up.
Oh, absolutely.
So we see the 23 of Ryan Zunk and Roger DeBold getting wave arounds.
So let me pose this question to our fans in the chat. Are we going to go to the 100 lap mark, or are we going to see overtime? Let us know what you think.
While we were showing the replays, everybody did come down pit road. So everyone should be good to go for not just a green-white, not just the end of the race to the century mark, for a couple of green-white checkers. These guys should be all right.
Right. We do have a few that have put it on the hauler, though.
Yes, we do. Matt Cherry in the 54, done. Just past halfway. Joshua Coroner done for the night. Seth Jajoris done. Believe
Dustin Stallings has put it on the hauler.
Vince Burns, I believe, is done as well.
He's just been sitting on pit road trying to get that car fixed.
And Caleb Roach is done.
Yeah, he just put that on the hauler. So tough break for the Roach Army. Hopefully he can
David Hall has just had an incident. This is coming out of pit road. And I think his engine blew up.
Yep.
Coming out of pit road. You see the smoke there in the rearview mirror.
That was a twiff.
So it'll
And
be
he immediately towed.
Yep. So it'll be Tyler Truex and Matt Garrett leading us down here. 24 laps to go. Green flag back in the air at Daytona.
Absolutely. As you got 3 of those championship esports teammates up at the front of this piece with Truex, Garrett, and Vail. And Vail, if I was Vail, I'd go buy a lottery ticket tonight.
Absolutely. He's had a couple of pretty close calls here this evening. And we'd spoken about him before. Chance Leahy in the 34, he was up at the front. The last time he was this high up, he had to bail out because he didn't have a front end on his car. He now does have the front end on his car and is working his way up through the field again.
Which is good to see. You know, he had a strong car in the first segment, just unfortunately got clipped in that second segment, and you know, to the back he went. But
another guy that we haven't really seen all that much of is the 63 of Justin Clapper. We noted him earlier on tonight after getting one of his laps back on a wave around. He is now up in 7th.
How about the 88 of Mark McCrary?
He was down
2 laps down at one point.
Yeah, 2 laps down, stone dead last. Running
Now
11th.
just outside the top 10.
Absolutely. Tommy Allen Jr. right there as well in the 24. And for everything that he's been through tonight, Cole Jadoris still hanging around in that 89.
No, that's a great run out of the 89. You know, just perseverance, and I love to see that. And you know, his real world team should be very proud of what he's been able to do tonight.
Absolutely.
He just battled and battled and battled and battled, and no give up.
And still has arguably one of, if not the fastest car in the top 15 right now.
True story.
Seeing the outside line starting to form. That's the 93 of Thomas Aaron being pushed by Anthony Burleson. 26 of Vail. Very close, getting pulled off of the 3 of Matt Garrett. Outside line starting to prevail as Thomas Aaron now finds himself leading it.
Not quite yet, but he's about to lead the race. As that inside lane is just about collapsed.
Well, leading the outside line is...
Oh, yeah. He's about to be leading the whole kit and caboodle.
He is right now. Thomas Aaron out in front in that 93 on the outside line. Tyler Truex inside line now starting to build back up, but too little too late for the 69 of Truex. Now he's starting to make his way back up to the front.
And you got to think that the 3 was backing off to try to get some cool air to that radiator with all that front end damage.
Yep.
He's got to be screaming on temps right now.
Yep, certainly could have been the case. Let's ride on board with Justin Clapper on that outside line. See how much he's, even on the outside line, still having to play with that throttle so much. So 88 of McCreary on the inside. There's no rest here at Daytona. It doesn't matter where you are. There is no breather around this 2.5-mile giant.
Especially not with 20 laps to go.
Absolutely.
Yeesh.
Yep, inside line starting to bobble a little bit.
Vail just got into the mustard line and shot him up the track. Luckily, he was able to save that one in time. Drag race to the stripe. Oy, that was close.
Now, this is the last time these drivers will be at a super speedway in the next-gen car. They will be going to Talladega in the middle of May, but that will be in the truck.
And we know that trucks at Talladega is always a fun time.
Absolutely.
At the stripe the last time across, Aaron over Truax by 1/1000th of a second.
It's the 6 of Jurassic slow on the outside after being involved in that last incident. Aaron leading the way on the outside with Anthony Burleson in the 79 pushing him. Chase Leahy behind him. Inside line, Tyler Truex, Matt Garrett, and Greg Vale, the top 3. Top 14 have broken away from the rest of the field. Nikolai Jardone, the last car in this group.
And that's a big breakaway, too. There's a 7-second gap back to Harrison in the 13.
Yep, and these guys running single file on the inside line, not picking up the same steam that the past second groups have had.
Especially when I'm running too wide in front of them.
It's starting to get late in the day here as well at Daytona. Not going to be under full light come the end of this thing. We're almost at 8 p.m. sim time.
Yeah, those Moscow lighting rigs on the inside of the track are on and fully lit.
Yes, they are. Roof, outer lights on as well. 17 laps to go. Tyler Truex nosing out ahead. But now the 93 with the advantage on the outside line. And we've seen here at Daytona, it doesn't matter what gen of car you're in, outside line is where you want to be, especially coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, absolutely. As, you can just get such a better run out there. But the 79 of Burleson backing off right now to try to get some clean air to that radiator so that he can push in the final laps. I mean, yeah, leading right now is fine and dandy, but help me lead that final lap. That's what I'm looking for.
Robert Barber lynching onto the back of the 3 teammates. Up at the front on the inside line as Tyler Truex kills the run on the outside line. Not for long, though, as the 79 of Burleson right back on the outside of the 93. Or the back bumper of the 93, pardon me. And it's going to be Thomas Aaron, at least for the moment, leading, and he will be leading at the stripe. It's the 55 of Vince Burns on the outside line with no front end. There's Formosa in the 80. Oh, and a big wreck!
Jeez.
Hard into the outside wall. And with 15 to go, the caution flies again, and this one, another big one, will take out even more drivers.
And it was all trying to get by a lap car.
And from what I could see, it wasn't the lap car did anything wrong. It's just, it's narrow here at Daytona sometimes.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not putting it on the lap car.
Oh, no,
it's
I know.
The field trying to work its way by a lap car. Too wide, not the best idea.
Just going through one. They're trying to get around Formosa, and the 79 just comes down and swings down a little bit too much. So we'll ride on board with the 97 of Burleson. So let's see what he sees. He's coming up, trying to give Formosa as much room as he can. And in trying to give the 80 as much room as he could, he didn't give the 3 any.
Yep, the 88 catched a piece of it. The 68 catched a piece of it. 34, the 8.
Boy, that 88 came in and took a hard hit.
Yeah, he did. Oh, there's our first, thank God this is a simulator moment of the night.
It's Mark McCrary, and we were just talking not that long ago about what a night, a recovery he's had. Being 2 laps down earlier and a huge hit. So the 34, He'd taken a fast repair earlier on in the night. 55 had just come out of pit road. I think that's the 63 there as well. Somebody else down by the inside wall.
The 24 is in, the 3 is in, the 58, the 06, the 83, the 37, the 99, the 04, the 14. There's a ton of takers going on pit road here.
Eighth on back.
Yeah.
All coming down pit road. So Tyler Truex, Thomas Aaron, Greg Vale, Cole Jadoris, Cameron Henn, Nikolai Jardone, Ryan Harrison. The 7 deciding to stay out here. And let's highlight for 1 second the 57 of Cameron Henn. We had seen him up at the front at the beginning of this race, started 6th, was up front for a couple laps, and then bailed way out of it to get all the way to the back, and is now up here with a clean car when it matters most.
And that's, really what plate racing is all about.
Absolutely.
But how about the 13? Great recovery drive out of that lone Toyota here tonight.
I think we did mention that earlier in the night. Field of 34 cars, 1 Toyota.
Barber's decided to put it on the hauler.
So Barber, as Tony had mentioned, done. We'd seen him with damage earlier on tonight. Field split tonight as you were going over the manufacturer split. 22 Chevrolets, 11 Fords, 1 Toyota.
As you would expect to see in an iRacing server, for some reason the Toyota does not get a lot of love.
It's a solid car too. It's a little bit slower on pace here at Daytona, I'll give it that.
But it pushes so much better than the other cars.
Yes, it does.
I mean, if you're looking for a good pusher, tell them to jump in a Toyota and hang on to your backside because you're going to the front whether you want to or not.
Now, we had talked about it a long time ago with the Gen 6 cars, that each car does have its own quirky little characteristics. They're all stock, they're all the same, but that doesn't keep these cars from having their own little characteristics. Like the Chevy was a little bit wilder, a little bit looser than the Ford and the Toyota. The Toyota seemed to hold its tires better than either two, and the Ford was about as neutral as you can get. So if you wanted to pick up and just run, the Ford was the car to go with in the Gen 6. I wonder if those manufacturer quirks have translated over to the next gen car. As Tony, we get set to go back to green.
Absolutely. The pace car peels on off. Truex going to have the button. Green flag is out, and we are back underway. Now, the good news for Truex, he lost one of his teammates, but he has the 26 of Vale right there with him on that low side, as Vale trying to push up into the 93 to kill the run of Thomas Aaron.
I wouldn't say he's lost Matt Garrett. He's got a clean race car now, just 2 cars behind him on that inside lane. The 24 of Tommy Allen, also a part of that team, still there as well. Guys, a lot of bumping and moving and wiggling around coming out of turn 2 as we got 11 laps to go. The 89 of Cole Jadoris pushing that 93 of Thomas Aaron back out front. And they both come down.
And my question still stands. Are we going to go into overtime tonight?
We've seen a couple of big ones, and there are still a lot of fast guys up here that just burned a fast repair. 69, there goes Tyler Truex to the outside line with Vale with him. Don't have the help behind those two, though.
Aaron trying to kill the run of Truex, not able to make it happen, He's going to jump up in front of Hen on that high side.
Tyler Truex and the 26 of Vail jumping out to that race lead. Thomas Aaron right there. Nikolai Jordan and the 11, on that inside starting to fall back because here comes Tommy Allen Jr. in the number 24 up into 5th. Look at the run he's going to get on the outside, though. Battling with his teammates now for the race lead on the high line, and look who's pushing him, Steven Lachinsky, who was a part of a big one not that long ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we haven't really talked a lot about Lachinsky tonight. Had kind of a quiet run, but he's up 21 spots from where he started, and
yeah, that's...
I just white-knuckled.
Yep, that was, I'm
And
sure, with the 69. Oh, that's the 11 sliding sideways down into the grass. And they keep it straight. We stay green, at least for the moment. Jordan still has not gotten it, or Jardon, still not quite gotten it back on the circuit yet. Now he's got it.
Jardon and Harrison get involved in that one. And they just seem to be a magnet for each other tonight.
Yeah, some guys never seem to get away from each other completely. There's that 24 of Allen working the high line. Steven Lachinsky right there as well. Here comes the 3 of Matt Garrett as well out there. 14 of Bobby Grant. We saw him spinning off into turn 3 not that long ago. He is now up here.
They're going to need a little more help in that second lane if they want to make anything happen. As, well, here we go. 93 of Aaron jumping up to that second lane. The 24 of Allen picking him up. And to the front they go.
Thomas Aaron, up to the front. Big move. Brings Matt Garrett down to the inside line. And that's a big block there for Lachinsky, keeping those 4 cars separated. That neon yellow bumper of the 24. He's now found one of his teammates in the 3. The 69 is out there as well, and so is the 26. This could spell disaster for the rest of the field as the 4 team cars are all hooked up, and for the first time tonight, it's Tommy Allen in the front.
Tommy Allen with a good head of steam right now as the 3 of Matt Garrett, who did have to burn his fast repair under that last caution, really didn't have a choice, pushing him as here comes Truex to the high line to pick up the 04 of Jolik.
He was trying to stall that outside line, and he did very successfully as Chowick had to get out of it. Tommy Allen Jr. in the lead of this race. Look to the outside as Thomas Aaron looks to the high side. His partner in crime, Steven Lachinsky, not going with him. He'll stick with the 04. The 6 up here as well after taking a fast repair. He is not on the lead lap.
He's not on the lead lap, but he's been racy all night long.
Yes, he has.
As we have 5 to go. Allen, Garrett, Truex, your top 3, as they're starting to pull a gap on the rest of the field.
Jurassic in that number 6 now with a clean car after taking his fast repair under that last caution. He is the first car a lap down, so he is looking for a caution to come out. Not in the group he's in, naturally, but looking for a caution. And you're right, Tony. This group of 3 here, the 24, the 3, and the 69, starting to pull away as Greg Vail now has come right back up to his 3 teammates. Lachinsky can't quite get up to the 26. As Thomas Aaron trying to get a big push from the 04. 4 to go.
4 to go as the 26 of Vail gets shuffled out. And he's going to start out the 93 into the wall. They're 3 wide.
Twice. Almost into the wall. Twice went the 93 of Aaron.
Oy vey. And they're not done yet. Vail and Aaron beating and banging down the super stretch.
Yep, these 2. I don't know if the 26 was trying to kill the run or try to take it, and it just didn't work out.
Part from column A, part from column B.
Yeah. And they just bounced off each other again coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, they're not done trying to wreck. As we are 3 to go, Tommy Allen Jr. in the 24 shows the way over his two teammates, Matt Garrett and Ryan Truex, as Lachinsky is right there within striking distance, but he's got to hope to God that the 57 goes with him.
I would have to assume he's going to if they want a chance to win this race. They're going to have to go with each other. Lachinsky is certainly in the best position to do it with Cameron Henn and Bobby Grant behind him as they now snake past the lap car. That's the 59, or the 58, I believe, of Dominique Cahart.
Yes, it was.
Second group has gotten itself back in order. Greg Vale showing the way in that second group, being pushed by Thomas Chowick. As up for the race lead, Tommy Allen still, he knows he's going to have to defend in about 3 miles time.
Absolutely. Popsicle sticks have been in the air. We got 2 to go. It'll be white flag at the stripe. The question is, what's going to happen with Allen, Garrett, and Truex? Because, Frank, you and I have been on teams before, and the only team rules we've ever had is try not to kill each other. Rule number 2 is if you are going to kill each other, make sure it's a Sports Center highlight.
And that's the 20. That's the 69 of Truex trying to break the run of Lachinsky on the outside. Does successfully, but also broke that inside line up. Could be
white flag.
Yep, white flag in the air as Lachinsky now loses his best position. 69 of Truex trying to block off that outside line, leaving it. It's a 2-car battle. The 3 and the 24 looking at it for the race win. 24 is going to have to block a serious run, but here come the 14 and the 69. 69 gets a wiggle that pretty much ensures that they're not going to be a part of it. Here comes to the line. It'll be the 24 of Tommy Allen winning the season opener at Daytona.
Matt Garrett coming back for second place. And Stephen Lachinsky, one of the 2 biggest movers of the night, coming home, rounding out your podium in the 99.
We're 3 wide for third, and Tyler Truex is the one that loses out. But what a way to start the season off for Tommy Allen Jr., running in the mid-teens all night long, and then with about 5 or 6 laps to go, gets in the lead for the first time and doesn't give it up. Certainly helped that he had a Tyler Truex Racing teammate behind him. And Allen is going to burn it down here at Daytona.
Rightfully so.
Absolutely rightfully so. Big win for the 24. And we'll try to find these guys, and this is part of...
I got you.
This is part of being new to a league. Not knowing where some guys are. And Tony, I believe you have our race winner with you right now.
Tommy Allen Jr., kind of quiet most of the night, but you got to the front when it counted, and you were able to hold off your 2 teammates there in the closing laps.
Yes, sir. That was some ending.
Congratulations on winning the season opener here at Daytona. Talk us through the team communications there, as you guys, you had 4 of you hooked up at one time.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really much communication with me. I knew Greg, Matt, and Tyler. They were running 1, 2, 3, and I was just trying to get up to them any way I could, and took the outside lane, and it just so worked out that Thomas Aaron, he went to the outside. I was able to get a run with him, and then once I got in front and I had Matt behind me, I knew I was good. I knew he wasn't gonna stray, and he was gonna stick to my bumper, and it feels good. I choked last year, had the lead going into the last restart on the playoff race and got black flagged because I freaking shut my brain off. So it feels good to finally get it through this time, get the job done.
Well, you did a great job tonight. Your entire team did a great job. As a matter of fact, I believe throughout the entirety of your team, you guys led the vast majority of this race here tonight at Daytona. Talk us through some of the carnage that you were able to escape from.
Yeah, I was trying to go hard in the first stage, try to get stage points. When we didn't wreck, I was really surprised. So second stage, I kind of just wanted to sit back, relax, and just kind of ride in the back. And we had that first wreck happen, and I was nowhere near that, thankfully. But there was probably the one wreck where the last couple lap cars got involved, and that was hit the apron, spun out. That kind of freaked me out a little bit, but took the fast repair and came back on the track. Luckily, I had it in the bank.
Well, before we let you go celebrate with your team, who do you need to thank tonight?
First got to thank Matt Garrett for pushing me at the end, definitely, and Tyler Truex for all the strategy, and my teammates Greg and Robbie. It was definitely a team effort. And for all my friends that are watching, the Binky boys back home.
All right. So, Tommy Allen Jr., congratulations on winning the season opener here at Daytona. We will see you next week at Phoenix, sir.
Thank you. Have a good one.
So,
Really good car. Overall, TTR did a wonderful job drafting together. We even adopted Steven there. He was tagging along with us, and it was important that we kept him in the draft. He had a real fast car. Just a great night of racing overall. Everyone in the league did a wonderful job. I think we all provided some exciting racing, and it was great. Real happy about tonight. Huge concern, huge concern. But when we came off of pit road, I realized that most of the field had to come down too. Luckily, my pit stop was really quick, so we maintained a pretty decent position, and we're lucky enough to find ourselves with a teammate right there. Whole different ball game. Whole different ball game. However, we've been running the trucks now for quite a while, minus the new bodies, but they still handle pretty much the same. These next gen cars, we're still trying to figure out. There's updates all the time. They change the way the cars handle, so we're still getting a grip on that. Next week, a lot of fun. Phoenix, short track, super fast short track. ETTR is gonna come ready to rock and roll. Thank all of ThunderClap Racing. All the admins did a wonderful job. All the racers for racing clean, being sportsmen out there. That's it, man. Thank you.
Steven, I know all things considered, you can't be too disappointed with a podium finish here at Daytona.
Oh, definitely not. That Monster Jam Chevrolet was running really good. Just ran in the back most of the day and then followed the Truex Racing team all the way up to the front there right at the end. So it was a good run.
Yeah, and you had a good recovery run too, because you got caught up in one of those early melees. And talk us through the mindset once you had to burn your fast repair that early. Of how much pressure was it to make sure that you didn't get into a second one?
Ooh, I was pretty nervous there. I've used it up, and I was like, I'm going to just chill and relax in the back a little bit until like 10, 15 to go. And like I said, as soon as I got to about go time after that last caution, followed the Truex guys up through there, and I was making deals with Cameron Henn back there, try to go outside and try to get by one of them or two of them. But yeah, it happens.
Well, Steven, I mean, you had a great run all night. A very strong car, especially in the closing laps. But we do change gears next week, and we go from the next gen to the truck, and then we also go to Phoenix. Your thoughts going into the D-shaped Demon of the Desert?
Ooh, that's a tough track to pass as well. But with my schedule, I might not be able to make it next weekend with me actually being with Monster Jam Monster Trucks. So next week I might not make it. I'm only running a part-time basis. So.
All right. Well, Steven, before we let you go celebrate the podium here tonight at Daytona, who do you need to thank?
Right now, I just got to thank Justin Clapper for putting on an amazing league and the Tyler Truex guys for just leading me through the field. And please stay tuned and watch this league. It's going to be a lot of fun this rest of the year.
Absolutely. Steven, congratulations. Best of luck to you at the Monster Jam. I believe World Finals are next week, aren't they?
A couple weeks from now, they'll be in Orlando mid or end of May. But I'm with Tom Mentz, so we're heading out to Seattle next weekend. So
very nice. Best of luck to you there, sir, and we will see you next time on track.
Thank you.
And Frank, I believe joining us now is the chief cook and bottle washer of the ThunderClap Racing League, Mr. Justin Clapper.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Just a couple issues with some etiquette under caution. Unfortunately, I had to use up my fast repair while taking a wave around. We had a car kind of park it up top and not pulled it inside and cramed his backside, and it just destroyed the front end of this car. And you can't even make a qualifying lap around this place solo, with the nose tore up like that. If you run in this pack, the pack's just going to pull away by half a track and probably just about 5 laps. So I had to take a fast repair on lap 32, and unfortunately got wrapped up in that late race wreck there and was done for the night with about 30-plus required minutes of repair. So, but as a commissioner, put the driver hat down and talking as the lead commissioner, beyond thrilled. I tell you what, you guys did a phenomenal job on the broadcast. I nothing but insane compliments for the show you guys put on tonight. Thank you guys so much for that. And congrats to Tommy Allen Jr., locked into the playoffs. Really curious to see what unfolds next week at Phoenix.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, man, I'm not going to lie. I was a little nervous, as I'm sure everybody is, getting behind the wheel of these next gens and not knowing what's going to happen. So definitely tickled on the inside of how great of a show we put on tonight, and really looking forward to the rest of the season. So stay tuned, viewers. You won't want to miss this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Trucks at Phoenix is always a good time, but just changing the car each week, that adds a new twist to it that we've not really seen in this way yet. And I'm excited to see how which drivers can adapt quicker, which drivers are going to be able to go from car to car to car to car as they go from track to track to track. And like you've mentioned a couple of times, we've seen it in the Friday night the Super Speedway League where they run Talladega and Daytona and alternate cars each week. This adds a new wrinkle to that whole scenario where now you're following the normal NASCAR schedule and doing that same thing. The skill set needed to wheel one of these cars around there's a little bit of a difference to wheel a truck around, and for that matter, there's a lot bit of a difference to go from a super speedway to that mile track in Phoenix, Arizona. Completely different skill set, so it's going to be fun to see how this one plays out next week. Nice. They can't get away from each other. Anthony Burleson coming home in 18th, 19th going to uh, Michael Grant. Sorry, I just have M on my screen. Vince Burns in 20th. Ryan Zunk, your pole sitter. Not the night he was open for, coming home in 21st. Dominic Cahart in 22nd. 23rd going to Roger DeBolt. Justin Clapper in 24th. Chance Leahy, 25th. 26th going to Robert Barber. Mark McClary coming home in 27th. 28th going to Scott Famoso. Seth Jordan. Excuse me. Thank you. Jadora's coming home in 29th. David Hall in 30th. Caleb Roche in 31st. Dustin Stallings 32nd. Josh Corner and Matt Cherry rounding out the field tonight.